Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another fun-filled video for you today. And today we're going to be taking a look at what is underneath this white towel, because it's not what you would expect. As everybody knows, I'm normally known as a custom collector, but recently I've been getting into just having a couple of production knives. Last week I did one on the, a couple weeks back I did one on the Benchmade Anthem, and I showed you guys my Damascus pocket clip that I had Adam Purvis do for me. Still using this piece, really great knife, really love it. So also got the Kershaw Knockout, if you guys remember. Those were the two production knives that have made my collection. These are going to stay, and they're going to be used heavily, which is something that I did not do the first time I collected knives like this, which were production knives. You know, because I was collecting them at a time and I was known more as a collector and, you know, not much of a user. But now I've kind of come full circle, still collecting custom knives, but trying to get back into a little bit into production. I've told you guys that, you know, I'm going to be collecting production knives, and that I would be coming down to three not three production knives that I wanted to get. This was one of them, and I told you guys to comment on my channel what the other two knives would be. I was kind of hoping I would get a plethora of comments on at least guessing what the next two knives are going to be. And you guys should consider guessing, because the next one is coming next Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. So in the meantime, I've got something underneath this white towel that maybe you guys might want to be interested in. It is a Kershaw. Boom, I've gone back into getting Kershaws. Like I said, I got the Kershaw Knockout and M390 all carbon fiber. This knife is more of a knife for many of you guys out there that are into the value line, or the, I guess I'm going to call it the midline that Kershaw now has, because they never used to have one. If you guys remember, a while back I was kind of ranting and raving about how Kershaw did not have enough people to fill in, or enough knives to fill in that middle gap between what ZT sells with those high-end knives and those value budget folders that are all Mauve 13 and under, you know, kind of lower graded steels. Well, Kershaw has now stepped up their game. We're going to take a look at one of their knives that is brand new from 2020. One of the knives that they got coming out is called the Kershaw Norad. Now, there's already a couple of videos out on this knife. I thought I'd go ahead and contribute and do my version of that video. So let's go ahead and take a look at this knife. And here it is. Kershaw Norad. Let's take a good quick look at that. All the way around, really interesting knife. It's a frame lock piece. It has a really nice drop point blade on there. A little DLC coating up at the top over there. Okay. The knife does run on KVT ball bearing system. I gotta tell you, this knife is very smooth. It is amazingly smooth. You can also open it in multiple ways. I don't think it was intended to be opened this way, but you can Spyderco or Spidey flick it. So that's kind of nice. One of the videos on this knife, I can't remember who did the video, but it's on YouTube now. You can catch it. I kind of chuckled at myself because he didn't realize that it was a flipper knife, and he actually opened the knife by Spidey flicking it. And then in the middle of the video, he noticed that the flipper, which is so discreet on the knife, which is one of the reasons why I had to have it, it's right there on the knife, really just so discreet, you can't even tell that it's even there. One of the reasons why, you know, I had to have this one, because it's not, you know, everybody knows that I'm more into front flippers. So this is not a front flipper, but look how discreet that flipper is. You don't even see it. It's so small. Really opens really smooth and nice. This is also one of the smoothest value line knives I've ever I've ever felt. Now, the steel on this knife is D2. This is not a stainless steel, so if you're going to be using it, you want to make sure you wipe it down a lot, because D2 steel will rust up on you if you get it wet too much and don't pay attention to the moisture on the blade. So the accents on this knife are really, really nice. You got the carbon fiber inlays on there, and there's also one on the back side of the knife. The back part of the back spacer of this piece, I'm not quite sure what that is, but I believe it's probably Zytel. A lot of people said it's just plastic. They might be right. It might just be plastic. The entire knife is stainless, made of stainless steel, not titanium. But man, the action on this guy is just insane. It is absolutely insane. You gotta feel this knife. One of the reasons that I wanted to get back into at least having one or two good Kershaws in my collection to use, I'll be using and beating this guy up a lot, is, like I said before, I mean, Kershaw, I don't know, they did not have very many knives to offset the balance between those people that were into the high-end knives and the value knives. But they didn't have anything in the middle. This is one of the few knives that Kershaw's coming out with in 2020. This is the Kershaw Norad. It sports D2 steel, which is a really good steel. A lot of knife companies are now kind of trying to create a midline a midline of knives with D2 steel, and some of them, like Sandvik 14C, 28M, those kinds of steels. But actually, Sandvik isn't even much more different than Mo 13 or Mo 14, whatever it is now. So they're trying to get back into the middle steels like CPM 154 and D2. All those, maybe even N690, which is very famous in South Africa. Those are the middle steels, and those will probably cost you a little bit more than $40, which is what most of the Kershaw lineup knives will cost you. Now, this knife costs roughly anywhere between $62 to about $66, but you're getting, for the price, you are definitely feeling it, because the smoothness on this knife, the action on the knife is really good. Let's take a closer look. So my knife is a little off-centered, which kind of bothers me, as you guys can see that. I'm a big stickler for centered knives, and this is not one of them, but you know what? I just emailed Kershaw and asked them if I could get a replacement or a refund on this. Not a refund, but at least replace it with one that's perfectly centered, because their warranty is really, really fantastic. I've actually had a couple of my knives, discontinued knives, break on me, and they were able to actually repair them at no cost, so I can't complain there. So realizing that this knife is completely brand new, they probably would just go ahead and replace it with one that is centered. So this is a frame lock knife. I don't have any specs on it, but I'll do the best that I can for you for now. It's a frame lock knife. The length of this knife is roughly, it's about 8.5 inches long, total length. The blade length on this knife is roughly 3.3 inches overall. The drop point blade on this is just really nice. One of the big, like I said before, one of the big things that would get you with this knife is the fact you can open it multiple ways. You can spidey flick it from either direction. I don't think it was intended to be done that way, but yeah, you can easily do that. You use the groove here. Now it's got the DLC coating right here in the middle of the blade, which I don't think is gonna, I mean, eventually everybody knows that the DLC coating will eventually scratch up and worn out the blade, but here's the thing, you've got this much belly on the knife, or this much between here all the way down to the bottom of the blade to use. I doubt that anything that you're cutting would go above that gray DLC coating over there, so I'm pretty sure you could probably live with that, and it does create some really nice accents on the knife. Another thing about this knife that I don't like, it looks like it requires a special tool to get to that custom pivot over there. I mean, if I wanted to fix the centering on this, I'm pretty sure I could, but I don't have any tools to open it with. it looks like it requires some kind of special tool, probably something in the grooves there that you'd probably turn. Maybe Kershaw will probably be introducing that in the coming weeks. Who knows? But yeah, right now that doesn't make me crazy because I should be able to at least fix that. But like I said, I called Kershaw, let them know, that this is off center. I'd like to go ahead and exchange it for one that is perfectly centered, which brings me to the other thing. If you're going to get a knife from Kershaw, I would not suggest you buy one online. Go to a store and get one. I'm not saying that they're, quality issues with their knives, but, there's no guarantee you'll get a perfect one. And, hence is the point. I mean, for $65, you figured they could at least get the knife perfectly centered. But there are so many positives to having this knife in my hand right now. The weight is heavy. It is a heavy knife. I don't know if you guys are into heavy knives, but for me personally, weight has never been an issue. When I think about weight in a knife, that's part of the whole collecting process with the knives, Every knife feels different. Every knife is different, so therefore I accept the knife at any weight. It's designed to be that way for whatever reason that the designer, or in this case, designers. This is a Kershaw original design knife. This is not made by collaborative efforts between Kershaw and some other knife designer. Probably made by a bunch of people at Kershaw who came up with this design. It's a very, very nice looking design. Really cannot complain at all. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. You can definitely feel the high quality, or at least the higher quality on a blade like this, rather than some of the low-budget knives that Kershaw offers in their lineup. So it is kind of nice to see a midline knife somewhere in the Kershaw line, because they don't have a plethora of these. In fact, the beginning of 2020, they've got about 5 knives, which is actually a lot more than I would have expected. But they have this knife. They've got another knife called the Kershaw Tumbler, which is also in D2. They've got another knife called the Payout, and I believe there's 2 others that I cannot think of at the moment. But this is one of the more newer knives from Kershaw. Their 2020 lineup. So let's go ahead and do some size comparisons and keep myself from yapping away over here. So we're going to go ahead and put it up against a few knives so you can get a better idea of the size of this knife. And it looks like now I've got a different set of knives that I can put these knives up against so you can get an idea of the size. So the first one will be the Kershaw Knockout. So there you go, up against Kershaw Knockout. And let's go ahead and put it up against, a favorite of mine. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this knife, the Spencer 21, which is a lot smaller in size right there. And the production knife that I've been honeymooning for, like, I don't know, a week now, the Benchmade Anthem. So as you can see, it's roughly the same exact size as a Benchmade Anthem. Like I said, the blade is 3.3 inches in length overall. This is a very, very appealing design. Almost looks like a ZT with the pivot there. Like I said, the only thing I don't like about the knife is the fact that you can't get in there and open it and adjust the knife. The knife does, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but the knife does run on KBT ball bearing system. That's another thing about Kershaw that I'm happy that they did, is that many of their low budget knives are now beginning to sport the KBT ball bearing system. Going back about 7 years, if you wanted to experience KBT, you actually had to go to ZT to get one to experience that. Now, and a lot of you guys who aren't heavily invested into the hobby as I am, I'm not saying I have tons of money, but if you're not up to that level yet, don't worry, you will be. If you're not at that level yet, now you can purchase knives with the KBT ball bearing system, and you can, for those of you guys that haven't gotten there yet, now you can hear and feel what everybody's talking about when they say that this KBT ball bearing system is so smooth. Now you guys can get that for, under $100. I mean, you can't go wrong. Like I said, this knife's only $65. That's not breaking the bank too much, and it is a really good quality knife, I really have to say. There's some heft to this piece here. Unlike the Kershaw Tumbler, which I have yet to experience. I heard that that's a much lighter knife than this one. Again, with the almost discreet flippers. That's not going to be a pocket pecker. For any of you guys that aren't into pocket peckers, you're going to probably enjoy having this knife in your pocket because you won't have that there. The flippers takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get it, the blade pretty much flies right out of there. And like I said, you can spidey flick it. If you're into that, that's not a problem. The reason you can spidey flick it is because if you take a good close look at the knife, they got this groove in here between the DLC coating and that the D2 blade right there. And that groove allows you to give you enough access that you can spidey flick the knife. It's very, very comfortable to do. I don't have a problem doing it at all. I probably do with my eyes closed. It's really no problem. And again, God, that action is just ridiculous. Really, really love it. You're also going to love the deep pocket clip that they put on there. It's only just, looks like tip up carry only, or tip down, sorry, only in there. But it is a deep pocket clip. When you put this in your pocket, probably the only thing they'll see is the tip of this part of the knife right here when it's in your pocket. So it's pretty discreet. The knife is discreet in the flipper. It's discreet in the pocket clip. It's a very, very thin knife. Sports really great steel. And why don't we see, get this knife, because I never do this on my channel, is actually sharp. Now, D2 is a very, very good steel. It's a much higher steel than, you know, the Mauve 13 or the Mauve 17, whatever it is now. So this is definitely not a low-end steel. It's also not a super steel, so it's a midline steel. Doesn't quite fall up in there in the LMAX or anything, but it definitely falls in line with the CPM 154 and CM 154 and N690, which would be like the middle steel. So let me go ahead and check out the cutting ability on this knife. I got a funny feeling it's going to be super ridiculously, ouch, look at that. That is very, very sharp. Right out of the box, guys. That's crazy. Rips right through. Very, very well done. I think, personally, Kershaw's going to have a hit with this knife. The action is incredible. The action's incredible. The frame lock is really, really nice. Got the nice deep pocket clip, the discreet flipper, the pivot that is custom practically with the carbon fiber inlays on there. Overall, it is a nice design. Like I said, it looks almost like a ZT. I mean, you could, if you wanted to buy a ZT and you can't afford one right now, this is probably about as close you'll ever get to it. The action is ridiculous. I mean, look at that thing is fall shut smooth. Like I said, if you guys have never experienced KBT ball bearing system, any of you beginning knife people out there, there probably are, this is probably the knife you're going to probably want to get. Like I said, the knife is only $65. I mean, you can't go wrong with a blade like this. And this is a really good everyday carry knife. They don't have to be knives that cost this much to be good. Let me just say that very clearly to all you guys that are, you know, beginning this hobby. I know most of you guys aren't, but there might be someone out there who's watching my channel and not, you know, just maybe starting to get knives. Keep in mind that this knife is roughly about $425 versus $60. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of the high-end quality knives, but I would be very, very happy owning this piece in my collection as one of their value line. Really cannot go wrong. Just an overall great design. Even the design of the blade is nice with that, you know, it's got a really good belly on there, so a lot of slicing on that. This is definitely going to be a slicer for you. The jimping on the knife is very, very small. It's not, they don't have a lot of jimping on it, but there's enough there for your finger to hold, for your thumb to put there, where you could, you know, have your finger all the way up there, like in the Filipino grip, or back here, the saber grip. You know, that's what Michael Janish calls it. This would be the saber grip. That's the Filipino grip. So both are very comfortable. Depends on how you want to hold your knife. The ergos on this, I want to say, are fantastic. A lot of people have actually complained that maybe this part of the knife right here is a little bit kind of sharp, but I didn't find that to be sharp at all. I actually think it's quite comfortable in my hand when I'm using it. You can get all 4 fingers on. I got a small hand, so for those of you guys that have larger hands, you can probably get all 4 fingers on here. That curve in there fits very nicely in your hand. I don't have a problem with that. Just overall, this is a really, really good knife. Really great piece. really happy to be using this. Hopefully I'm going to be using this in the next few days. So I'll be getting a chance to see what this feels like to carry. Like I said, the knife probably weighs roughly about 9 ounces. It's a fairly heavy knife to have in your collection, in your hand. But overall, I like it. I do like it. I like the design on the back, spacer over there. It's not too busy. Just really nice. Does add some comfort to the handle there, so really nice. Like I said, I think this is plastic, but it might be Zytel. I don't know what that material is, but it does look nice on the knife. You have to think the materials that they used on this knife can't be all that, fantastic. But most of the money in this knife, I can tell you right now, probably went into the KBT ball bearing system that they put in there, because I don't think the KBT ball bearing system is a cheap system to get into. Of course, also the carbon fiber inlays. The carbon fiber inlays are kind of laminated a little bit, which is fine. It's almost like the Kershaw Knockout. It's got that same kind of laminated 3D effect on it. Really very pretty. Except with the Kershaw Knockout, the knife is made of all of that, except for the subframe lock on there. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Kershaw Norad. Model number, let me show that to you guys. Model number 5510, the Kershaw Norad. Definitely check this knife out. Like I suggested to you earlier, I definitely would recommend going to a store to get one of these. I mean, like I said, mine's not perfectly centered, which kind of annoys me. But, it's not like I can't live with it. In fact, like I said, I just emailed Kershaw, see if they could get me a replacement, because, it really should be more like that in the centering and not like that. One word about the centering, guys, it really doesn't matter because with the centering, because as time goes on, your knife is going to be off center, especially if you're a heavy user. I don't care what kind of knife it is, whether it's a custom knife, whether it's a high-end production piece, the knife will go off centered if you're going to be using it. However, if you're going to be buying a knife, you want to see for yourself how perfect is that piece at the moment that I buy it. You always want the knife to be as perfect as it possibly be. In other words, the best condition the knife can be in when you first buy it. After you buy it, yeah, that'll go off center. You'll have to adjust it, so on and so forth. But, which is why I say it doesn't really matter. But, when you first buy a knife, we're spoiled. We're Americans. We're spoiled. We can't help it. We want everything perfect when we purchase something, and, that's me. When I buy something, I want it to be perfect. So it should be like that. But instead, as you can see, it's a little off-centered. So, but whatever. It's not like I can't deal with it. I can. So just to come full circle, this is a really great knife, strictly for the fact that it's got a nice drop point blade. The flipper on the side over there is very, very discreet. You got the nice carbon fiber inlays on both sides of the knife. There's one right there as well. It is a frame lock. It's got D2 steel on the knife. Deep pocket carry clip. The only thing I said I'm complaining about, it's also got great ergos. Right? Great ergos on this piece. The only thing I'm complaining about is really the fact the knife's not centered, and that's not going to be an experience that everybody's going to experience. There's going to be some out there that are perfectly centered. You'll be very, very happy with it. So I definitely recommend at least checking this knife out. I will be back to another video on this knife after I've used it for a while, and we'll check it out and see how the knife performs. I'll do another video on that. So for now, this is Omar the Knife Sharp Guy signing off, hoping you'll check out this great piece of sharp art in your collection. Yeah, again, please comment on my channel regarding what knife you think would be one of the 3 final production knives I'm going to have in my collection. You guys might want to discuss that. Hopefully I'll get some comments what you guys think the knife might be based on my taste, I guess. So yeah, there you go. The Kershaw Norad, a great piece to have. Really nice action. I mean, I think Kershaw's got a winner with this one. And finally, if any of you guys have bought a knife and you feel like I'm somebody you could trust, I'll be very, very happy to maybe review the knife for you. I'd like to offer that out to anybody. If they're more than willing to have their knife on my channel, that'd be great. So far, no one has, so we'll see how that does. After you guys have reviewed this video, maybe you guys like my style. So I hope you do. I want to thank everyone for bringing me up to 171 subscribers. I've been doing this for about a year now. I still don't know how to put graphics on my channel. I could certainly use some help with that. So, in the meantime, this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off. Check out the Kershaw Norad 5510. Their brand new lineup from Kershaw 2020. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys stay safe out there. And pretty much the whole concept now with the coronavirus thing is to go outside alone. Trying to avoid big crowds. See you guys later, and yeah, just stay safe out there. Thanks so much, and you guys, God bless.